So I went to the Italian-American festival the other day in my city, and it was typical. You know, you get a lot of sausage stands and cavatelli and a little bit of the Italian culture, although that's getting so watered down after, you know, the big influx of Italian immigrants was about 100 years ago, that by now, even if you're a half Italian or a quarter of Italian, that's like the most ethnic you're going to get. And in general, it's so watered down. But we love the heritage, we love the food, we love the mandolino and the music and everything, so I like to check it out. And it's in my town, which has lots of festivals. So as I'm walking down the main drag there, I noticed there was a lot of people gathered, but there's this one guy standing on a soapbox, literally like one of those wooden crate containers, soap boxes. And he had a Bible in his hand, and he's ranting and raving, and he's like one of those evangelists that believe that he's got to yell at you to get you to come over to Jesus. It's like that old, like Burt Lancaster in that movie Elmer Gantry, kind of without the charisma. And he's doing this ranting and raving, the typical stuff you've all heard a thousand times. You know, you are a sinner and you have to turn back to Jesus, and you must be saved, and you must accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior. You've heard it a million times. And who wants to get yelled at the Italian festival? And but guys who do this sort of thing love the antagonism. They are that branch of Christianity that loves to consider themselves victims. And they love to be victimized. They love to be persecuted. They think that's a part of their identity. So he's just itching to get into a fight with somebody, to point a finger and have someone point back. And my wife said, don't make eye contact with him, like he's going to be like do some sort of meltdown on me. And I don't care. I don't even, frankly, when it comes down to it, faith-wise, I don't disagree terribly a lot with what should be the basic premise of the faith we have in common. But that's definitely not my approach, and I don't think it's an effective approach to evangelize or make friends with anybody. You do that by listening, and people like that don't listen. They just shout and rant and rave, and they're standing literally on a stupid soapbox. And plus, it's the Italian festival, you know. That's the music you hear, and this doesn't fit in quite right. Nevertheless, he's exercising his free speech, and he's antagonizing people. He wants people to respond. And one guy raises his hand up or his arm up, and I don't know if he gives him the finger or just what, but it caught the eye, it caught the attention of the evangelist, who said, "What was that, sir? What was that, sir? Come back and defend your point of view." He was so hungry for a battle, so itching to engage and to lock horns in the public square. Well, the guy didn't. He kept walking. He was eating an ice cream cone. So a little while later, we walk by, and I see the guy still doing it. Mostly people are just cool, ignoring him. Who cares, right? They just want to have some Italian ice and cannoli and get a pizza. Well, when I walked by, I felt this kind of feeling, this spiritual surging feeling in me to raise my hand. And it's sort of I just raised my hand, walked past him, kind of close, my palm straight out. I smiled, I met eyes with him, and I meant it. I felt very genuine in whatever feeling this was. I can't even tell you what it was, but it was a genuine feeling. And as I raised my hand, my palm open peacefully, he was ranting, and in the mid-rant, he stopped. I could tell that he was jarred, interrupted, and he looked, he was riveted, and then he kind of like, he was interrupted, and he looked at me in the eye. His demeanor, unglued, he had this like rigid facade, almost an angry, hateful, not quite hateful, but angry, and it unglued and it softened, and he smiled back kind of quizzically. He wasn't sure why. He raised his hand too. And I'm extending my palm out right now, but it was a peaceful gesture. And he did it. All took place in a second. And he half smiled back in a confused but disarmed way, peaceful way. And I kept walking. And he quickly went back into mid-sentence, whatever he was saying about you must be saved. But I felt really good about it. I felt good because I don't know why I did it, but what I felt like I disarmed him. I put my hand up, which could have meant anything to him. It could have meant hello. It could have been tone it down. It could have been, like, keep up the good work. I don't know. But the fact that it was open and mysterious, and it was a very real, if not instant, improvised encounter. But it disarmed the guy from his script, and I'm glad it did, because for that split second when his demeanor became unglued, he seemed like a more peaceful, open, communicative guy who was wondering what was going on outside of himself versus trumpeting and blasting out this torrent of yelling from what he considered to be the good news. I think there was more good news in our wordless, momentary encounter than in all the ranting he did that day.